I will go to the next and last speech of today. So Michaela is the CEO of jSparrow, and she will talk about the JDK 17 and the new long-term support of Oracle, and especially what does it mean in business perspective. So this is more a business talk. I think, Michaela, you have also prepared around 25-30 minutes, something like that.
10 minutes. I tried to keep it short, but so we did it. I said if it's a little bit longer because his topics are really interesting, I will do a short talk.
Okay, that's good to hear. So happy that you're here today. Looking forward to your speech.
So thank you for okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, today, as Tom already said, is our third refactoring day, and as refactoring is a really, really necessary topic for every company and has a lot of inputs, I will today look at some other topics. You already know me from other talks. I'm the product owner of jSparrow and I'm a CEO of Splendid. That's why this topic is also very interesting for me, not only because of the technique, it's also about the always changing Java license policy and what does the actual change mean to the companies. In the past, we had a lot of questions from customers or jSparrow interested persons. What does the Java license mean for OpenJDK, Oracle JDK? How many license do we have to pay? Do we really have to pay? And I think also Oracle noticed that these discussions are not that very productive for Java itself. It makes the people insecure, and that's why they really changed a lot in this release. So I will focus on that topic. First of all, I put here the Oracle Java release, which they told us that they will change the long-term support and they will make differences in the period they want to support it. And I will later on tell you why. And of course, they promised us a lot of patches in the topics of security, performance, and other really most necessary features we need for a good development. But that's always a topic of the technicians, so I skip this and I go to the terms of support. With Java 17, we have another long-term support version. The actual maintained ones are Java 8 and 11. There's only one additional Java release already still in support, is 16, but this is not a long-term support, it's only a normal 6 months release. So you see that there are 3 long-term versions supported by Oracle right now, but there's a big difference. Now the long-term support is only for 2 years. This skipped over and shortened the period, but they promised that the support at least will be available for 8 years. Here we see the timeline for long-term support. You see still Java 8 is in support. Also Java 11 is still supported, and 17, which started maybe I think 3 weeks ago, will be supported for the next 8 years. The other ones are short-term versions which are supported for 6 months and then went to the open versions too. Why did they change the period of the long-term support? They said that they recognized that there are also other words which say they did it to get a little bit more pressure on the companies, that the figures from SNUC and the survey showed that companies are only changing to long-term supports. The mean versions are very low. Use the percentage 2%, and now I think it's not higher right now. You see here 8 is 60%, 11 is years later on 62%. So they have to do something to shorten up the periods why companies change to long-term support. They very seldom change to short-term support, or it's called non-long-term support. And that's why they said that they will do long-term supports every second year to encourage companies to also change to earlier to these supports. You see the percentage within 1 year is increasingly high, but it's not really shorter with 8. So there is a lot of 8 already still in 2021. What does this mean before we talk about long-term support and license? What does this mean commercially? I think the discussion started with Java 8 when Oracle started to commercialize the licenses and to have an OpenJDK and a commercial version. And everyone was wondering, when can I use the open one? When can I use the commercial one? Is it free for me if I make an application which is only used internally? Does this also mean for bigger companies like banks or insurances, or have they to think about, is there have to support also vendors outside or not only internal users? So there was no clear sign from Oracle when to use Oracle JDK or OpenJDK is better for the companies. They always said that the fee was 25 euro per month per developer is not that high, but you also have to pay for users. So in the end, it would be a big amount for all companies using Oracle JDK. But they also promised a better batch performance and a better upgrades for if you have some problems, security and performance ones. So I think it was also a good decision to take an Oracle JDK. If you don't need that support or your company is not that big, then Oracle OpenJDK was also a good solution. But with JDK 7, they changed to an NFTC license, which means Oracle non-fee terms and conditions. So you see that Oracle JDK is now free for everyone. You can use it, you can change it, you can develop with it, you can share your applications with the new JDK without any fee. You're also allowed to change it, but you're not allowed, that's the only limitation on it, you're not allowed to get any money for your changes on the JDK itself. You can, of course, change it, but without making a commercial benefit out of it. I wonder if anyone will themselves change the JDK, but you're allowed to do it. So that's, I think, a very much easier understandable license term and condition policy from Oracle right now. You can use it and you can share it and you needn't pay for it, but not for everyone. So if you have an agreement or a license contract already in use with Oracle, you're not allowed to use the license policy right now. All the contracts and conditions you have signed before are still valid. So please be careful. You have to skip contracts or quit contracts before you're completely free under license agreement JDK 17, the NTFC license. So there is only a small but. Everyone, you can use it, you can sell your license, you can develop with it in a commercial way. Everything's for free, but only if you don't have any other contract in place right now. I put here in my slides all the necessary links to the Oracle itself, so you can make sure. I'm no lawyer what this would mean to your company if you skip to this, to the JDK 17 license, but be careful, it's not valid for everyone. So that's what I really want to make sure that all of them knows that it's not free for everyone. After all, I also want to not left unmentioned that there are a lot of other open JDKs, which of course are free of charge. Ardit made a pretty good article on TZone. Also, the link is here. So if you're not sure whether you want to change back to Oracle license or still stay on your open JDK vendor, here's a list of all the vendors. And as we all know, that changes in the actual and the future versions of Java will be also get into this new JDKs, so there will be no limitation. You are not limited if you take one of these vendors too. So I hope that it's now easier for everyone to use a clear policy and to know what to do with the Oracle JDKs or not. I really appreciate these changes and makes it more easy to use the actual version. I don't know whether it's a good decision to have a 2 and not a 3-year license, but a support for 8 years is a good promise. So I hope you will change to Oracle JDK 17 as soon as your company allows you, because you have seen in the talk before, there are a lot of good new features and they promise to keep an eye on security and performance. So I think it's time to change to 17 right now. Thank you.
That was a very good last sentence, Michaela. I think we all agree.
Thank you.
It's like always updated to the latest version, right?
Yeah, it makes sense. It helps you to have cleaner and better code. The quality gets better, as you have seen with all the case switch and case studies. It gets more readable. You got a good performance issues on it, and for me, always good code quality is very necessary. And I think everyone should have a lot more focus on that too. And the new versions are really great.
True. Perfect. Are there any other questions to Michaela or to Ardit? If you're yeah.
I just wanted to make a remark, Ardit here, that the post that I made on TZone is not intended to be an exhaustive list of all the JDK vendors, but I think I've mentioned there the most important ones, but there are also many others out there and new ones are coming up. So yeah, there are many JDK vendors nowadays.
Yes.
If you're watching this on YouTube, please comment it if you have any questions. Also like it and subscribe to our channel as well. So Michaela, I think we will just wrap it up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you also, Ardit.